Dude, look behind you. There's like a little shrine of them. There's like, oh, that's a cranium. Give me the camera.
Oh wow. Yeah, paw prints out there.
Every wilderness trip proves how fast isolation can turn deadly. From a sudden fire trapping you inside a winter tent, to a massive predator roaring in the dark. How would you survive a terrifying camping encounter? The disturbing clip comes from Campion, a camping-centered channel recognized for quiet ASMR-style outdoor recordings focused on real-time footage and natural audio. It is November 7th, 2025, at a remote winter campsite in the United States. The camper is inside a heated tent. During a winter setup, the space is controlled, with the heater running, lighting set, and gear arranged within a confined area. In cold conditions, keeping heat contained is critical, but it also means everything functions in close range. As temperatures drop, he gets ready to refill the kerosene heater while handling lighting and power inside the tent. He pours fuel into the heater while inside the enclosed area. At the same time, a light loses power and is linked to a nearby power bank. Multiple systems, fuel, heat, and electrical, are now active within a small space. Without warning, the power bank fails. A sudden burst happens, followed by ignition inside the tent. With flammable materials and limited ventilation, the fire spreads rapidly across nearby surfaces. The situation changes. The camper responds immediately. Smoke and flames move through the tent as he works to control the fire. Visibility drops, and space is limited, making movement more difficult. Despite the conditions, he manages to bring the situation under control before it spreads further. Fortunately, he wasn't injured, and the fire was put out quickly. In moments like this, staying calm can shape how things unfold, especially out in the wilderness. Have you ever experienced something like this while camping? Two hunters were recording in the remote wilderness of Idaho when they suddenly stopped, as if they had just noticed something that shouldn't have been there. They quickly aimed their cameras toward the forest ahead, not because they had seen it clearly, but because whatever it was that had just crossed the frame had such an unusual shape that they couldn't ignore it.
Give me the camera. Oh.
That wasn't a freaking bear.
What was that?
It wasn't a bear.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Listen. Shh. Listen.
Did you get it?
I don't even know what that was.
Did you get it on film?
Yeah. I know I got it on film before you took the camera away from me.
It didn't remain still and didn't stay visible for long. It only appeared briefly between the trees, and then disappeared. But the way it moved was unlike a normal run or walk, making it impossible for them to identify it as any familiar animal. To this day, there is still no clear explanation for what appeared in the footage, and no one truly knows what they saw. Maybe it was only there for a second, but something about the way it moved in that wilderness didn't feel normal. So, what do you think it really was? The next unsettling video comes from Encounters with People, a UK-based exploration channel that records solo and small group trips into remote forests, focusing on real-time reactions and strange moments. It is July 12th, 2025 in a remote riverside forest in the United Kingdom.
But it's actually been friendly, I guess, in a way, right? Because it has not even acknowledged me, basically ignored me the whole time. I've seen it once or twice, at least I think I have. I'm also not sure if I'm just like hallucinating. I've drank so much water from this stream.
The camper arrives at a quiet spot near a river and starts setting up for the night. They gather firewood, place a large log, and look around the area. As it gets dark, it becomes harder to see under the trees. Across the river, shadows and small movements begin to stand out, almost like something is there watching from the tree line. In the low light, the contrast between the water and the forest makes those shapes seem more real than they should be. Already tired and mentally drained, the camper starts to question what they're seeing, especially being alone in such a remote place.
I got myself set up for tonight. I got that massive log that I hauled down here. That thing is, I hope nothing moves. I mean, it can only go into the stream, but that should burn all night, which will be awesome because I need to sleep. Or the fire, I had to keep on screwing with the fire because I couldn't find any big wood.
The camper tries to get a closer look. They move over wet ground and slippery rocks, trying to keep the fire going while watching the area. The ground makes it hard to move safely, especially at night.
Dude, if I slip, this is gonna suck. I'm gonna get soaked. I didn't put my flip-flops on, my little strap. That's a mistake. I put these jammies on tonight because last night I was freezing and all I did was have my red shorts on all night, but those are wet and they're hanging up.
The river blocks the way, but it also stops them from getting closer. The large log doesn't keep the fire burning. The light fades a lot, making it even harder to see. With less light, they have to rely more on sounds and vague shapes. The cold, tiredness, and constant forest noises make the pressure feel stronger.
Well, the fire is completely out.
By morning, the fire is completely out. Everything looks normal again. In daylight, the area feels calm and open, with no clear signs of what was seen or heard during the night. Out in the wilderness, when light fades and distance hides detail, even small movement can feel like something much closer than it really is. So was it just shadows shifting, or something watching from across the river? A woman was alone in the woods when suddenly a sound began coming from somewhere nearby. It wasn't a familiar animal noise, but something closer to a long, drawn-out scream.
Oh my God, no, f that.
She couldn't clearly tell what it was, only that it didn't sound right. Something about that sound was clearly not right. Like it didn't belong in the wilderness at all. So what do you think was actually happening out there? Action Adventure Twins is an adventure channel run by identical twin brothers who document extreme outdoor exploration. However, a video uploaded on September 6, 2024 shows how what seemed like a simple cave exploration turned into a much more dangerous descent than expected. The video begins with the twins arriving at a remote property after being guided there by a local landowner. According to him, there was a deep pit cave somewhere on his land, but he had never explored it himself. Curious about what might be below, the twins decided to investigate the cave on their own.
But we were at the cave. He says he threw a rope down it with a rock and it was 200 feet deep before it stopped. We're gonna see if our rope reaches. It's still, oh, you were right, it kept going.
After hiking up the hillside, they finally reached the entrance, and with their harnesses secured, one of the twins began lowering himself into the darkness. As he descended and his light reached the ground below, something immediately felt off. The beam passed over shapes that looked too solid, too pale to be simple rocks, and it made the hair on his neck stand up. The discovery of human bones completely changed the atmosphere inside the cave.
Human bones, huh?
Look how big they are.
That's just Johnny. He went missing a couple years ago. Dude, look behind you. There's like a little shrine of them. There's like, oh, that's a cranium.
Dude, is that a human? Yeah, that looks human, man.
That doesn't necessarily make, I don't know.
That's
I'm
a
not a
femur.
bone expert.
If anyone knows if that's a human, let us know.
Let us know who went missing, man.
Johnny.
Little Johnny.
especially since the landowner had believed it was just a shallow hole in the ground. As the twins continued exploring, the tension increased. One of them realized that if the rope failed, the fall would likely be fatal, yet going back wasn't any safer since they were already too far below the entrance to retreat easily.
Dude, you have no idea. There was a rock that almost went teetering off. Yeah, there's 2 pits on this side of us. That rope that I saw, that like traverses over the pit.
Do I trust this rope?
You're on a rope right now?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to. Let me see how big of a pit this is.
45 feet.
Yeah, I'm putting on my harness. Dude, this is gonna blow that guy's mind who drove us here. He said it was just a hole, he thought.
He didn't think it went anywhere. Look at this.
With slow and careful movement, they continued deeper into the cave. The further they went, the more complex the terrain became. Several times they stopped, unsure which path was safe or where each tunnel would lead. Then, after passing through tight spaces and uncertain turns, the cave opened into its most impressive chamber.
And way cooler.
Formation! The soda straws are like crystal clear.
I know. This is sick. Whoa.
Dude, look at those pillars back there.
They're just pure white. Dude, this is all lurking right beneath his field. That's crazy. That one.
Yeah. All red.
Whoa. Look at that thing.
Dude, there's lots of them.
I know.
According to the twins, it was one of the most beautiful sections they had ever seen, a hidden world beneath ordinary land. After spending hours underground, they eventually made their way back near the entrance. The landowner, who had never imagined the hole led anywhere, was shocked to learn that a massive cave system stretched beneath his property. For the explorers, the experience was a reminder that the underground holds many secrets, some amazing, some unsettling, and some that may be better left alone. Maybe what they found was only part of what lies below. But in places like this, not everything is meant to be understood. So would you keep exploring or turn back? The next terrifying video comes from Pithy Platypus Outdoors, a UK-based adventure and survival channel focused on extreme solo camping and backcountry hiking, known for immersive first-person footage and real-time reactions to harsh conditions. It is February 22nd, 2026, in remote, heavily forested mountains in Wyoming, United States. The adventurer starts a solo winter hike, carrying a heavy pack through a wet, snow-covered forest. The ground is steep and unstable, with slippery branches and thick plants slowing him down. Carrying this much weight in these conditions makes him tired quickly, especially without much rest. He knows there are predators in the area, but right now his main focus is moving carefully, keeping his balance, and saving energy before it gets dark.
All these branches out of here. Use this log that's already leaning here. This one. Cover this in some way or fashion with all these other logs that are just everywhere. It is getting chilly. I only have about 40 minutes before it's like pitch black. Holy crap. Does not make it easy that I am on such a crazy incline. I don't know how well this is gonna show up in video, but it is steep. Maybe if I can get a brace in the middle here, I won't have to use such long pieces.
On a steep slope, he begins building a simple shelter. The ground is wet, so he has to build it up using logs and branches to stay off the cold surface. As daylight fades, time becomes important. He has to manage the structure, keep it warm, and work fast enough before night comes.
I heard a wolf down there. Sounds like it's moving away. I was basically over there getting branches and thatch for everything.
In a place like this, a shelter isn't just for comfort. It's needed to keep his body heat through the night. Starting a fire becomes difficult. The wet wood won't light easily, forcing him to try again and again. While collecting branches, he begins to hear movement in the forest around him, followed by clear animal sounds that feel closer than before. He reacts by making noise to let whatever is out there know he's not easy prey.
Hours. I fell asleep an hour or so. Woke up, fire totally gone out, and I heard a pack of coyotes or something like that, a few hundred feet that way. Well, here's a little update. I've been watching our videos for about 2 hours now. I'm just like waiting for something to just pop in one of these holes, and just, this is more like what it looks like in my eyes. A little update. It's raining, so that's awesome. This wind just howled. Literally right over there. I'm really sorry I haven't gotten any of the sounds on video. I think I maybe got one. I'm not playing this up for anything. I genuinely hate this right now. Just checked the weather, and it says it's supposed to rain for the entire day. It literally said that there was no rain or anything forecasted for the next 3 days. It's 4 a.m. right now. Just got done with a pretty cool phone call with Matthew.
Basically, I had a cougar like 3 feet away from me on the road up in Wyoming, and it was like in front of my face and kind of. So I didn't shoot Jeff, and that's my point. I didn't have ear protection, and I didn't not shoot him because I didn't have ear protection. Probably like for me, probably like solid 10 minutes. I couldn't really hear anything. Not nothing, anything, but like nothing substantial. Like I could hear like sounds.
I was thinking like 30 seconds.
The sounds continue nearby, moving through the same area, like something is circling without showing itself. With the darkness blocking his view, he can't tell how far away it is or what direction it's coming from. He stays mostly still, saving energy and avoiding sudden movement. From his spot on the ridge, he keeps watching and listening. The steep ground, low visibility, and constant animal activity keep him on edge. By morning, he leaves safely, but the night reinforces a key reality of backcountry survival. Danger does not come from one moment, but from multiple conditions building at once. Out in the wilderness, nothing may seem like a real threat on its own, but when everything starts stacking together, even small problems can feel much bigger. So would you recognize when things begin to turn? On September 29, 2020, a man uploaded a video about the dangers of camping alone. But what stands out is that the scariest part isn't in the forest. He explained that whether you camp in a tent, a hammock, or a vehicle, being alone makes every risk more serious.
In this video, I thought I'd talk to you about something I think is really important. And it's something that a lot of people know. To go over some of the things that crosses my mind. That is camping solo, camping all by yourself. And I wanted to talk about the dangers in camping by yourself. And this applies to all forms of camping. The type of camping isn't that important. It's the fact that you're camping alone by yourself with no one else around when camping by yourself. When I camp alone, because all of us are different. Everybody has different fears. Everybody has... When someone camps alone, especially once it starts to get dark, they naturally start to acquire fears of the forest. You know, what's out there in the dark. And once night falls and the woods are pitch black, they worry about wild animals, stuff like that. Dangerous predatory animals that can do harm or kill a person. Just this month, on September 17th, a man that was 43 years old was camping alone by himself in a tent in the Smoky Mountains. And hikers came across his campsite and a bear was eating on him. He was being eaten by a black bear. He was already dead and the bear was feeding on his body. The hikers took off out of the area and called rangers, and when the rangers showed up to the campsite, this specific campsite, the bear was still there feeding on the man, and they shot and killed the bear.
Many people are afraid of animals like bears, wolves, or other predators in the wild, and there have been real cases of someone being attacked by a bear while camping alone. But for him, the real danger comes from things you can't predict, like health problems. He once shared a moment where he suddenly couldn't breathe and had to be rushed to the hospital. If that had happened deep in the forest with no one around, surviving would depend almost completely on luck. Other situations like injuries, broken bones, or being trapped under a fallen tree can leave you unable to move or get help on your own. In the wilderness, even one small mistake can become serious if no one is there to help. Some risks don't come from outside threats. but from the moment you realize that if something goes wrong, you are completely on your own. So what do you think would be the most dangerous part of being alone out there? The video comes from Truesdale TV, a UK-based stealth and wild camping channel, focused on risky overnight camps in hidden roadside locations, often in woodland near public areas. It is October 26, 2022 in Northern Ireland, in a concealed patch of woodland beside the M2 motorway and a nearby dual carriageway. The camper starts on a busy Sunday, carrying a fishing rod to look casual. He pushes through brambles and thorn bushes, searching for a hidden spot near the motorway. Footpaths and constant traffic make it hard to stay out of sight, forcing him to balance access with visibility.
That wood there. It's rotten. This place didn't break on me. Okay, we're down in. Hopefully we can find somewhere down in here. Now that's the main road there. There's a footpath along there which will be an issue for us. So we are right on the side now. This is just what I was thinking. So we're right on the side of the road here, so this could be... We'll fire the bag down and we'll get a bit of a look around. Okay. Let's suss this place out. Okay, over here's obviously no good because footpath is there.
He sets up a small A-frame tarp between trees, creating a compact camp. A basic cooking and entertainment setup is arranged, but it quickly becomes clear the wilderness spot isn't as hidden as expected. Light from his setup and the glow from a screen can be seen from the road. What first seemed concealed is now exposed from multiple angles.
Thought that was somebody walking there. Now it's not, it's just the leaves moving there. But yeah, so I'll turn these around. I'll show you where I am. I'm thinking, I'm not sure exactly where, but I'm going to put my tent in around here somewhere. I'm going to throw up the big tarpaulin, but the road is just right there. That's the road. We jumped over the fence and came down in here, so.
Vehicles begin stopping nearby, and the pressure rises immediately. From inside the tarp, he stays still and quiet, avoiding movement that could draw attention. With people now stopping close to the area, the risk is no longer just possible.
Dark now, and I planned to leave to cook until later on, but I didn't think things through properly because this light is going to give me away. Because if we just turn around, so you can see just there, see that break in the trees, that is like, you know, people walk across that and they're bound to see this light. Now what do? Do I lower the tarp down, or do I just say frig it, hammer on? We'll go and investigate. Let's do that. I just want to see how noticeable my camp is from up there. Quite noticeable. Let's go deeper up in to where the people walking would be. You see, they've got the height advantage, they'll be looking down on us. We'll go as far up as we can.
It's happening. As darkness sets in, the light from his camp becomes an even bigger problem, making his position easier to spot from nearby paths and open gaps between the trees. By morning, he checks the area and finds small black cameras attached to trees, showing that the location is being monitored. The situation becomes clear. The spot wasn't just exposed, it was already under watch. He packs up quickly and leaves through the motorway. Maybe it felt hidden at first, but in places like this, you might be seen long before you realize it. So would you know if someone was already watching you? Unknown Dreamer is a camping and adventure channel run by a creator named Ashish, who documents outdoor trips across the forests and mountains of Uttarakhand. His videos usually follow simple camping journeys and show quiet moments in nature, but a video uploaded on February 7th, 2025, shows how a routine overnight trip suddenly turned into a frightening wildlife encounter deep inside the forest. The video begins with Ashish heading out on a small camping trip with his friend Sumit. Part of the journey is on foot, and as they walk, Ashish explains that their destination is deep within a forested area. At first, the atmosphere feels calm, with the two friends casually talking about camping, gathering supplies, and planning to cook dinner once they reach the site. Yet, beneath the relaxed mood, there is a sense of caution. They mention a risk that has recently become common in the area: sightings of wild animals, including leopards and tigers. Even so, they continue, knowing that camping in forests always comes with some uncertainty. Once the camp is set, they search nearby for firewood. After nearly an hour, they collect enough dry wood to start a small fire, and as they begin preparing dinner, the scene feels like a normal camping vlog. But the calm doesn't last. While tending the fire, Ashish suddenly freezes, his attention caught by a faint sound in the distance.
वो बैठा है बॉय अन्ना कितना बड़ा है ये ओए इधर टाइगर है हैं टाइगर बेटा भाई साहब लिटरली
ये देखिए नहीं भागेगा भाई
ये भाई
चमकी
ये देखो
मेरे मैं आज कैमरा नहीं ला रखा हूँ नहीं तो दिखा देता दोस्तों देखा कितनी ज्यादा इसलिए और आवाज ज्यादा थी वो वहीं को लगा वो देखा कैसे देख रहा है वो ये उधर ही पे है मुंह के सामने में
टॉर्च कैसे कांप रही है अब सोचो तुम उसका फोकस नहीं है इसको
चला छो इतनी छो
चल भाई क्या हल्ला करूं ओ भाई नीचे को आ रहा है
It begins softly, almost unnoticeable, but within seconds it becomes clear. A deep, echoing roar moving through the trees. Both men stop instantly, their hearts racing as they scan the darkness, trying to find where it came from. The situation quickly escalates.
इसकी खन की नहीं आ ही जाएगा
भाई आराम से हल्ला करो हल्ला भाई ऐसे टॉर्च बार बार चमका रहे हैं आएगा नहीं क्या वो ओ भाई वो क्या करो फिर ओ भाई अंधा हल्ला करो यहाँ को आ रहा है
सुन में वो टाइगर है
अंधा हल्ला करो यहाँ को आ रहा है यार हल्ला करो घंटा फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा उसको
कुछ नहीं इतना बड़ा है यार वो तो काम बना देगा मैं कह रहा हूँ भागते हैं
यार वो यहाँ को आ रहा है
Ashish suspects it might be a leopard and signals Sumit to make noise while keeping the fire going. The camera shakes as their flashlight cuts through the dark, briefly revealing a large shape moving between the trees. The tension rises fast, and it becomes clear the animal is much bigger and much closer than they expected.
देख रहा हूँ तो जूते पहने नंगे पाँव चल रहे हैं कह रहा हूँ यहाँ से इधर ही पे है ये सब सामान को ऐसा ही छोड़ दे वाले ही अरे ब्यूटेन भी पकड़ इसको ही ले जाते हैं आग लेके चलते हैं कुछ नहीं होगा चल हिम्मत ले पकड़ आग कोई पकड़ ले ऐसे अरे छोड़ ना अरे बाहर से कोई आ रही हूँ कहीं इतना रिक है जल्दी चल चक्कू पकड़ाने अच्छे सुन पागल है तू ठीक है
Realizing the danger, they understand they cannot stay at the campsite. In the panic, they grab a burning container of fire, hoping it will scare the predator away. Ashish later explains that at its closest, the leopard was only about 50 meters away, and his hands were shaking the entire time. The next morning, they carefully return to the campsite. In daylight, the forest looks calm again, with no clear sign of what happened the night before. But the memory remains. For Ashish, the experience becomes a strong reminder that in the wild, humans are only visitors, and sometimes the forest has a way of reminding you who truly belongs there. Maybe the forest seemed calm again by morning, but something had already come close enough to change everything. So what do you think was really watching them that night? They had attempted 3 times to reach the end of Sasquatch Mountain. Snow and fallen trees blocked the roads, and this time they continued on foot.
All right, we made it to camp.
Yep.
We did not end up camping at the concrete jungle down there.
We took a gamble and went up this small,
road.
little tiny road, and pretty nice spot with an incredible view over there. We'll show you in a second. Let's get camp.
This footage comes from the channel Brian and Marissa, uploaded on October 29th, 2023. As they came around a bend near the dead end, it happened. A large branch snapped somewhere deep in the trees. Not a twig, not a small crack, something heavy and close. Then silence. No wind, no birds, no movement.
Just heard a twig snap. Nothing big. No biggie.
heard this branch break, and then it was just dead silence. And it sounded like a big branch, too.
Yep.
So we walked to the end of the road. Like, it was pretty high. We're talking like 80 out of 100 at
Checked
this
out
point. Checked out the views,
Yep.
checked out the campsite.
They first heard a small twig snap, nothing major. But then a louder break followed, and everything went completely still. The sound suggested a large branch. They continued walking toward the end of the road, the uneasiness rising quickly. They checked the views and looked over the campsite. There was no one else around, no cars, no voices, just miles of forest ahead. That's when the feeling hit. A strong wave of chills ran from the spine to the top of the head. It felt like pressure building, as if moving into something unseen. The air felt wrong, almost charged. Once they moved away from that area, the sensation stopped immediately.
And it went all the way up my whole entire body, and my head felt like it was compressing together with just like this, like, I've only felt that one other time, and that's when we went to twice actually. We went to Willard, and I walked through the same area 2 different times. Felt like it was like almost a vortex. Like, if you've ever been to Sedona and like gone through the vortex, how you feel there.
Why were we in Willard?
Oh, Sasquatch sighting on the Cliff and Bobo show, so we went to go check it out.
Farther down the road, the feeling returned slightly, and fresh predator scat was found along the path. It didn't match bear, deer, or elk. The idea of something nearby became harder to ignore, and they decided to leave the area quickly, choosing not to camp there.
That probably looked like it was cat. It didn't look like it was bear, deer, elk, or anything like that. I swear to God, there's something following us and tracking us. We hightail it out of there, and Brian wanted to camp at this other area. I ixnayed it. I did not want to be out here.
Grace is very grumpy. She's spooked out.
Mm-hmm. I'm majorly spooked out. There's like no people up here.
Months later, they returned, and even in the rain high above that same road, every crack in the forest sounded like something moving closer through the trees. Maybe nothing was ever clearly seen, but between the sounds, the feeling, and the signs left behind, something didn't feel right out there. So what do you think was really happening in those woods? On August 31st, 2025, Canadian Paralympian Lisa Franks decided to spend the night alone, camping in her van beside a quiet river. It was just after midnight when a loud bang jolted her awake.
I'd gone to sleep around 11 o'clock. And I hadn't really fallen into deep sleep. And I heard this bang on the front of my vehicle. And then I could feel that my vehicle was being pushed. And I am just camping out on Crown land right along a river. There's farmland nearby, but I haven't seen anybody all day. I was also here yesterday and last night. And immediately I just thought, like, it's a Friday night, there's another vehicle had pulled in or something, and people were messing around, or maybe they thought the camper van was abandoned and were trying to break in or do something. But yeah, I heard this bang on my front end, and my van was being pushed. Like, I thought maybe then a bunch of people were just messing around, some teenagers or something, and rocking my van. So I yelled, "What are you doing?" Actually I said, "What the F are you doing?" Just to let them know there was somebody in the van. And then I didn't hear any, voices or anything. Didn't hear any footsteps, which was weird. But immediately, I was jolted awake. And then I didn't hear anything.
Her van began to shake. Something or someone was pushing against it. She assumed it was people fooling around, maybe locals who thought her van was abandoned. But when she shouted for them to stop, there was no response. No voices, no footsteps, only silence.
And then all of a sudden, right at my back window, like right up here, I heard something too. Like, it was, swiping my vehicle or something. And I'm obviously freaked out at that moment. I grabbed my keys and I grabbed my cell phone and put the flashlight on and I pulled my window covering down, which was kind of silly, but I pulled the back window covering down to try to look out, but it was pitch black. But then I heard like another, just hit my vehicle. And so I put the window covering back up and I beeped my key fob to make like a little beep beep to, I don't know, just let them know there was somebody in here.
Moments later, another thud struck the back of her vehicle. Then came the scraping. something brushing against the glass. Terrified, Lisa grabbed her phone and keys, locked the doors, and honked the horn to scare it off. The pounding continued until she remotely started her van's engine.
And again, I heard another hit. And so then I just started my vehicle. I put my Ford app on my phone. I started my vehicle. And I think that scared whatever was away.
Finally, after several tense minutes, the noise stopped. At dawn, she found the answer. Muddy paw prints smeared across the windows and doors.
Just right here. And you can see like a dirt paw right on my window there. I'm trying to look on the actual dirt. I imagine once I go out there, I'm going to see more evidence, but that was not there yesterday. Definitely not. Oh, wow. Yeah, paw prints out there. More there. Something was trying to get in.
Whatever had circled her van that night hadn't been a person. It was a bear, likely searching for food. The encounter ended safely, but it left a chilling question behind. Which would be worse? Someone trying to break in or something? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.